This computation help video will help with adding integers. We have this first problem, -5 plus -3. The rule for adding integers, or one of the rules, there are two rules. If the signs are the same, you find the sum and you keep the sign. So the way that the thing that's supposed to help you remember this rule is the words same and sum are pretty similar. They sound alike, so that's the way to remember. If the signs are the same, you find the sum. Now this only applies for adding integers. There are different rules for multiplying and dividing. Okay, so same, sum. The sum is what you get when you add two numbers. So 5 plus 3 is 8, and it says keep the sign, so it's -8. So the sum is -8. Something else that will help you if you can remember back to the models you learned. If you're on a number line, let's show 0 first. We know our negative numbers are to the left of the 0. So here's -5. If I'm adding a -3, starting with -5, if I'm adding a -3, which direction am I going? I'm going to the left. Because I know if I added +3, I would go to the right. If I'm going to the left 3 more spaces, that would be -6, 7, 8, -8. Okay. We also have to consider the situation where the signs are different, and the rule for that is if the signs are different, you find the difference. And the way to remember that is different sounds like difference. And the difference is what you get when you subtract two numbers. So we take our 13 and subtract 7, and we get 6. But then we have to consider what is the sign of this difference. The way you figure that out is you keep the sign of the integer with the greater absolute value, which is the same as saying which of the integers is farthest from 0 on a number line. -13 is farther from 0 on a number line than +7. So our sum here is -6. And if you think of a number line model, that will help you remember that rule as well. If you start at, show 0, if we start at 7, +7, if we're adding a -13, which direction are we going? Well, if we're adding a negative, we're going to the left. Well, the first 7 jumps will take you to the 0, but then you have to go 6 more. So you know you're going to be in negative territory. You're going to end up at -6 here. So that's one way, just kind of visualizing the number line model will help you apply the sign. If you know if you're adding a negative number that is farther from 0, it's going to take you back into negative territory. Or you could think of the chipboard model where you had 7 positive chips. These are all positive. If you add 13 negatives, you're going to have 6 more negatives than positives. So these 0 pairs go away, but you still are left with 6 negative chips for a sum of -6. The best way to, the models will help you conceptually, but the more practice you get, the more you'll just memorize these rules. These are the rules to memorize. The only other trick is to make sure you don't mix these rules up with the rules for multiplying and dividing. We'll get to that in another video.